and welcome back to Two Furs for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 4 breakdown. I'm delighted once again to be joined by sadboycare. How are you doing today, Care?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, I haven't had my wisdom teeth taken out, so I'm probably in a lot better shape than you.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think this is the first time, though, that we've actually recorded where I've had a full cup of tea. I'm always kind of like half... Yeah, because like we always just jump on a Discord and there's like a good 10 minutes before we start, and I just drink most of it by the time we actually start. And a lot of people were taking the piss out of the way that I drank my tea last time.
What do you mean?
Like they were like, why are you drinking tea like that? Like there's a specific point where I like drink it and I don't know, I like pick up the cup like this or something. I don't know. But yeah.
You always do grab the mug weird. I don't know.
It's just however's like easiest. Whatever's quickest really. Drink a lot of tea. Before we come on to today's episode though, what did you make of the latest Loki trailer?
I knew I forgot to do something.
You haven't seen it at all?
No.
Whoa.
No. I haven't watched it. I watched like 10 seconds of it on Instagram and then I was like, oh right, I have to watch this before we record, and then I totally forgot.
Wow. Call yourself a Marvel fan.
Do you want to start over?
No, I don't care too much about it. It's like I said though, like, because that would have been like a pretty decent video to have done completely by itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, as this was like
I was incapacitated that day.
Yeah. That was poor timing. That was really poor timing.
That was really
like this timing. Is like okay because you've like somewhat recovered, but then it was like being on the day like no good.
Yeah.
But okay, well, I guess so. Last week we were kind of talking about a way to kind of do this sort of like spoiler free, and then we'll come on to. I'm gonna get rid of my keys in my pocket because I keep playing with them. But yeah, we were talking about doing like a spoiler free version, and then talk about the actual episode with spoilers, and then move on to everything else. Kind of like giving it everything like its own specific section. So just as like a general overview, what did you make of today's episode?
I really liked it because of how, like, angry it made me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, there were just parts where I was just like, it was just like the emotional response. I was like, this is how it should be, kind of thing. So I really enjoyed it because it did make me feel a lot. Mostly anger, but it made me, like, feel a lot of emotions throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that was kind of it. I kind of made a note that it, like, covered all the bases. Like, there was kind of a little bit of everything. Like, you still got sort of, you know, all the different characters are basically being covered. Whereas in previous episodes, some weren't so much. Some of the characters that weren't featured so much in previous episodes, we didn't mind because we didn't like them. But yeah, I think it just, as well, I think it's left like a lot more mystery and questions to sort of be answered, and I just really like that. Thought it was a really good episode. Ending was perfect, and I get where you would find it kind of annoying.
No, I was so happy. I was like, he deserved that. He deserved that. I hate him. I hate him so much. And it just, like, grows every time. And, like, the amount of times that, like... This is just, like, a side note. But, like, the amount of times that something was thrown at him and missed by an inch, I was like, please just hit him. Yeah. And so when he got caught on camera doing that, I was like, you deserve that. You're a piece of shit. I hate you.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was it was a good ending. It left that whole kind of cliffhanger sort of vibe where I'm now just very excited for next week's episode. So, yeah, like, I feel like I'm going to rate it very highly when we get round to that section. But we will now move on, obviously, to the sort of whole spoilers section. So, episode starts off, it's kind of like a flashback 6 years back where Bucky and Oyo, if that's how you say it.
I think it was Io.
Yeah, it's like, I was thinking it's some sort of like actual African pronunciation, I'm pretty sure. But that's my very British way of saying it. Oyo. So, yeah, we get taken at the very start of the episode. 6 years back, sort of, she was the one who was sort of helping Bucky rehabilitate in a way. I kind of like that, and I like that this series is giving us loads of different locations once again.
Yeah, I loved the beginning. The beginning scene was like, I don't know, I thought it was also like the quick cuts and everything made it seem like it wasn't just like them sitting in the forest. Like it was like very emotional for like a first scene because it cut between like him sitting there and then him thinking about all of these things that he's done and like worrying that he's gonna fall back into that, and then when he didn't, I was just like, that's, I don't know, I really liked it.
Yeah. No, I think it was like it was showing a bit more of a like deeper look into Bucky.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like trust issues sort of thing. That's what I was kind of taking away from it, that like he really didn't think that they would fixed him, and he was scared that, you know, he was going to go back to his sort of like usual self. So yeah, I found that very interesting, and I'll be interested to see where the relationship between those two actually goes, because there's only 2 episodes left, so it should be very interesting. Okay. Yeah. I made a note because like Zemo and Bucky and Sam, they're all kind of like getting ready to find out where Karli is through the mother figure, is what I would call her. I've forgotten her actual name.
Mama Danya.
But I felt during that entire scene that like Zemo was somehow getting through to Sam and Bucky.
Yes. I still don't really know what his vibe is. I really don't understand him. Like, what his, like, character is doing right now. Like, the fact that he, like, ran away, too, I was like, what? Like, I don't know. Because I knew that he was going to try and, like, get rid of the serum. Because that's, like, his whole thing. But it was, like, everything he did was, like, really weird in this episode. I don't know.
I don't know. So like,
I still don't really know what his end goal is.
Yeah, like he is a really interesting character to have in the series, and I'm taking quite a liking to him just because of the way that he's handling. Like, he knows that like if he just gives everything up, then like he talks about later, like having the leverage, that they'll just turn on him, and I completely like understand his entire way of reasoning. But I did think that he's somehow getting through to Sam and Bucky in sort of, I don't want to say like mind games, but getting them on the same sort of page of how he thinks about things. Basically, so they see it in his kind of perspective. I think he is actually getting through to them in some regard like that. But yeah, now that the way that it kind of the episode ended, where he's kind of left them, I just it kind of again just it keeps throwing you. You kind of like get to know him, you like him, and then he goes and does something, and then you think about it for a second. So it was very confusing.
Definitely. And this is later on in the episode, but when the Wakandan warriors were there, as soon as Sam was like, Bucky, you need to help him, I was like, don't help him because then he's gonna run away. Like, when Sam was like, you need to help New Cap or whatever, I was like, Zemo's gonna run away, so maybe don't do that. And then they did that, and then I got really, really mad. I was just like, are you kidding me?
I did get the feeling though, and I think this is the way from like the way that the previous episodes have been done. So when they managed to track down Karli, thanks to Zemo, you know, being all sneaky with the children and using Turkish delights as a kind of bribe. Very cleverly done, I think, that, because the other two were just, didn't really know how to get that sort of information. But yeah, so when they find them and US Agent or new Captain America joins them, you just kind of know that US Agent is going to intervene one way or another, whether you like it or not. It
made me
just
so
felt
mad.
inevitable.
I was just waiting for it.
Yeah, like they're really building his character.
Mad.
They're really building his character like a bad person.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I thought that was brilliant though, because you just know that he's going to do it. You have that sort of like anticipation of just whenever it's going to happen.
Oh, but it made me so mad. Also, this episode made me... I have a inkling. Maybe not after the like last fight scene. But like, I think Sam genuinely wants to try and help Karli.
Yeah.
Do the things that she wants to do, but in like a good way.
Yeah.
And I don't hate her. I don't hate her. I hate the person who's supposed to be like the new hero way more than I hate the person who's supposed to be the villain in this. And it was this episode that made me like not hate her.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Like, I think the change from sort of last episode to this episode for Karli has just been massive because, well, I mean, to be fair, like, she still detonated a car bomb and then that just, like, killed, like, 3 people and 11 were injured or whatever. Like, it's still a pretty bad thing to do. But,
yes.
Yeah, I like her a lot more now. And I love that they did the whole... her and Sam, like, because I think Sam's storyline of having the sort of like want to saving the boat and his family and whatever, I think that was really important to tie in because now it makes a lot of sense when he's like trying to communicate with Karli and it's like, look, we're on the same page. I absolutely love that they have that sort of thing in common. And I just hated that US Agent intervened because it was working.
It was. Oh, it made me so mad. And I knew for like a second, I was like, no, Bucky's not going to let him do it. I was like, Bucky's going to stand his ground and he's going to be like, no, you're not allowed in there. And then he didn't do it. And I was like, Bucky, why?
I really felt like Bucky could have stopped him. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like he chose not to. Like, obviously he chose not to. But like, I don't understand why he chose not to stop him.
Well, we'll come on to kind of another thing that irritated me about US Agent, though, is because Zemo manages to escape there and then, gets out of the handcuffs, and he obviously runs into Karli and is trying to kill her, ends up injuring her, and destroys all the serum. So before we come on to the US Agent, we'll just touch on that. Because... did you see the whole, like, I knew that Zemo wanted to destroy the serum, but I didn't know it was going to happen this quickly so soon. Did you see that coming whatsoever?
I wasn't surprised. Because, like you said, we knew it was going to happen. Like, we knew he wanted to do that. I really wasn't surprised by it. Like, it wasn't, like, something that I was like, oh, wow. But I don't know. The way it happened was kind of weird, because I was like, why is he just, like, straight up trying to kill her when he could just rip the bag off of her and crush the serum, you know? It felt, like, very personal for him to try and kill her.
Yeah.
In that, close quarters, like, it was just the two of them. But, I don't know. I wasn't surprised by it, though. I was, like, I also was not surprised by the fact that there was one left. Because I called it as soon as he was stomping on everything and then he, like, ran away or whatever. I was like, there's one left. Like, there's going to be one left and stupid John is going to take it and then that's just going to be it. Yeah.
But I think that's the first, like, kind of prediction that, like, we've ever had right so far in the sort of 4 episodes that we've done. So, yeah, I was really happy that came true. But the thing that I didn't understand, and it only really occurred to me like after the actual episode, was like, why did Captain intervene?
Why did he intervene? What do you mean?
Like, why did he, like, Zemo was going to kill her, right?
Yeah.
Right, but sorry, not Zemo, but US Agent's aim anyway was still to kill her. It's literally that whole... This is going to make you hate him even more. It's literally because he wants to be the person that kills Karli.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right?
He wants control in these situations, and like he wants to just be in charge of everything, and that's why I hate him. Like it's like the main reason why I hate him.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, I don't maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I didn't really notice that he like stopped it from happening. But I do agree with you. I think that's very much what happened.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. Just a weird scenario, really, with US Agent. Because I'm not too sure where his kind of future lies after the series. It's really, all up in the air when we've got 2 episodes to go. But I really feel like they're building him up to be like a proper villain beyond this series. Because with WandaVision, you kind of had like... what's it called? Like with WandaVision, like you kind of had Agnes, but that was like right at the very end. You know?
Yeah, there wasn't like a true villain the whole time.
So I think it's going to be interesting how the last 2 episodes play out for US Agent specifically, as well as all the others. But on to so Zemo ends up escaping, whilst there's like an entire fight scene with the Wakandans. Is that how you say it? Wakandans, yeah.
Dora Milaje or whatever.
Yeah.
What was it? I always forget how to say.
I forget how to say everything.
Warriors are called. I just call them the Wakanda Warriors because.
But Zemo manages to escape in that entire fight scene. What do you make of the entire situation of Zemo escaping then and there?
I thought it was inevitable. As soon as Sam and Bucky stepped in, I was like, no one's watching him anymore, and he knows it, and so he's just gonna run away. And I honestly wish that they just would have let them beat the shit out of John. Because I just don't like him. I was sitting there and I was like, don't help them. When Bucky was like not helping them, I was like, good on you. I was like, thank you. Thank you for prolonging this. Also, I hated John's reaction to the fact that he basically lost a fight to them. Actually, he did lose a fight to them. I hated his reaction to that because it was just so, like, misogynistic. I don't know. Because he was just like, they weren't even super soldiers. As if these women who are highly trained warriors don't, oh my god. I was like, I hate you.
Yeah, but like he has got like, 3 medals of honor or whatever. Like he is also very highly skilled in military. But you know what I mean? Like I think that's just anything. Like if I was to have a boxing fight with somebody on the similar level to me or whatever, I'd be like, oh, there's nothing special about them. I think that's just natural sort of competitiveness.
I don't think it was. It was more like, I think I wrote down in my notes something that I probably won't. I won't say it. I'll tell you later. But basically, it was like a baby's bruised ego. It wasn't like he was. I was just rubbed the wrong way by that line. I was like, you piece of shit. Like you really. First of all, you don't know who these women are. That like they could literally rip you in half if they wanted to, and that you just think that you can beat them because you served a tour in Afghanistan. I don't know. It's also different fighting styles, and it's very obvious that they're very much trained in like hand-to-hand combat. Whereas when you're trained for the army, I'm pretty sure you're trained to like stay back. At least nowadays, I don't know.
I don't know. Like I haven't been in the army, but yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I think it was just more of a I think it was just natural sort of competitiveness, pride sort of thing. But yeah, I can see how it would add to that whole sort of like, oh, why is he reacting like that sort of thing. Okay, so the big spoiler is that Lamar or Battlestar dies, or that we have to assume he's dead.
Yeah.
But did you expect to see that at any point?
No, but I also wasn't surprised by it. Like, it wasn't something that I was... I don't know. I don't have stake in the character. So I didn't really... I don't want to say I didn't care, because that's mean. But I just don't like him or John, really, because he's just kind of John's, like, lap boy. So I'm just like...
Because they come as a set.
Yeah. So I just kind of was like... I don't know. I guess I was surprised, but I also just didn't really care that much. That sounds horrible. But, like...
I think it was very purposefully done just to make US Agent react the way he did. I thought it was very similar to, you know, how you see in Captain America Civil War, the way that Tony reacts when he realises that Rhodey is basically, like, disabled. Like, he proper flips out straight away. And I think, it's a similar sort of reaction.
But I think it was so much worse. Like, John's reaction was so much worse. Because, like...
Yes.
Because what Tony did, he just, like, stunned Sam. And he fell. And John...
I mean, he, like, shot something at him, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, he stunned... Like, I don't know what it was, but, like, it could have been, like, a taser or something. Like, he stunned him. He didn't kill him.
Yeah.
It really shows the difference in character, like the difference in standard for heroes when it comes to the heroes that we knew and the heroes that people are just trying to, like, or, like, I guess that the government is just trying to create so that people feel safe. Like, you can't just grab anyone off the street, even if they have history in, like, a military background. Like, this is just not a job for everyone, you know? Like, I
think what you're sort of, like, pointing out is that it goes back to the whole sort of, like, Captain America sort of, like, you know, they can be a good soldier, but they've got to be a good man to be a hero.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It goes back to Steve being, like, picked very specifically out of, like, thousands of men because he actually gave a shit, you know? Whereas a lot of people would just care about what they look like, and I feel like John is one of those people. Yeah. Which I think is why that's why him getting caught on camera. It shouldn't have, but it gave me such a nice feeling. I was like, he deserved that so much. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just done so purposefully because that was exactly the kind of, like, we've been talking kind of, like, for the past couple of weeks really about what could really turn him completely over to the bad side. Like, he comes across as a bad kind of dude and whatever, but, you know, there's nothing really that's, like, swayed him to do something quite like killing Karli's right-hand man out in public in front of everyone sort of thing. And I think it was the perfect sort of thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely.
So yeah, I thought it was just a brilliant ending to a really good episode. And yeah, the fact that, like, kind of Karli's watching on from sort of a distance, watching him do it as well, like, that kind of adds to it.
It also
perfect.
Made me want Sam and Bucky to team up with Karli more. Not, like, team up with, but, like, help her do things the right way kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I
guess.
It just made me, like, I don't know. Because Sam and Bucky were there too, right? They were watching this whole thing go on?
Yeah, they, like, walked around and then just watched from a distance. Yeah, it's funny how no one intervened, but I guess, like, there's not much you can really do at that point.
I think he would have... I think he would have hurt anyone who got in his way at that point.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much the entire of the episode covered. So on to ratings, really. So what would you give
I think.
What would you rate this episode out of 10?
I think like a 9.
Ooh, okay.
Or like a high 8 point something. Like definitely up there. Like it was the best episode so far in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah, like I gave it an 8. And even then, like I was still like I could very easily kind of give it a higher score.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just like quite harsh with my ratings. I don't know. The last couple of weeks seem to be telling me that.
I just try and think of like what we've given other episodes, and I try to like, because it was definitely, we gave the first episode an 8, and it was definitely better than the first episode.
Yeah.
Second episode wasn't great. Third episode was getting better. This episode was the best.
Yeah, I think this one was probably the best episode. And yeah, so yeah, maybe I would go for like an 8.5. It was a good episode overall.
Yeah.
And it's just got me that kind of like proper excitement for the next week's episode.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I probably would say the best episode so far. Okay, right. We will now come on to sort of like fans' theories, which is basically where we look at anything in the past week that sort of fans of the MCU have kind of come up with. I don't know if you have any this week, Kay. There wasn't really a lot because most of it's been covered in sort of last week.
No, I haven't. I don't have any many fan theories. I have a theory of my own, but
Okay. Like a prediction or?
Yeah. And we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I don't think that Lamar is dead. Okay. And I think that I think it is like the Rhodey situation where he's just really badly injured. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's going to send John into some kind of spiral once he finds out that his friend isn't dead, and then he was also caught on camera killing a guy for what is now no reason. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So I think that could happen. But then again, none of my predictions come true. So it's probably not right.
Okay. Well, so I came across one, I'm not sure if I sent it to you or not, but it was a way for kind of Zemo's Thunderbolts to kind of like come together, which is basically any former kind of like I want to say anti-heroes.
Okay.
I think that's the right term. Kind of like Deadpool, like bad people, but trying to do good sort of thing.
Okay.
So Zemo is the kind of point of them. It would also mean the return of Hawkeye, which could be the potential of like his next series, because he's been gone into the whole sort of like dark side of the world and killed a load of bad people, but could now return as one of Zemo's Thunderbolts. It's very possible, I think.
Yeah. I think that could be a possibility. I'm just trying to think, like my cousin was talking to me about a new series, or not a new series, but like a new set of like younger Avengers. Mm-hmm. And there is a young Hawkeye, a young female Hawkeye, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be the same character or not. I don't know much about the comics to know this, but according to him, there's going to be like young Avengers, like Miles Morales, Isaiah's nephew is one of them, and this Hawkeye girl. But I don't know anything other than that. So I could see it possibly being like the last thing we see of Hawkeye, of like this Hawkeye, you know? Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see Clint back personally.
I like Clint.
Like I think Endgame was like a real kind of like, oh, he is a nice character. Like you did completely forget that he wasn't in Infinity War whatsoever, but it was just it was nice to see that he's a family man. He's retired and whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'd kind of like to see him back, and I think it probably would make more sense to have a female version as one of Zemo's Thunderbolts, but like we were talking about in the preview, where like nobody's there to kind of like run the Avengers, whatever. I think Zemo's Thunderbolts makes a lot of sense because then it's a group of people and sort of they take over really.
That's true.
So yeah, be interesting to see what they do there. The other theory that I did have, that I did see, was kind of Doctor Doom. A lot of people in the whole sort of MCU world, like fans, they really want to see the introduction of Doctor Doom, and a way for him to kind of be incorporated into the series.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, you got Latveria, which is kind of like I don't want to say a world because it's not like a world, but like a portal or something that he can control, which could very much be, I forgot the name of it, Sokovia, because there hasn't been too much mention of it. But in these last few episodes, you kind of see Zemo talk about like how, it's turned into nothingness, like nobody goes there anymore.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. So if nobody's going there, it could very well be Latveria, and that could be how Doctor Doom is somehow incorporated into the MCU Phase 4.
Yeah. I don't know much about Doctor Doom and his storyline, so I don't have much to add. But I could see that, yeah, because they do talk about how there's just nothing in Sokovia now, and it's just basically a crater.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be the only place on Earth where like a portal or something could open up, and no one would really know about it.
I think there's a lot of potential for Sokovia to become a destination of something.
Yeah.
And I think very much that could be Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
There's a lot of villains still for the entire like New Avengers or MCU to kind of go through.
There's tons.
Which when you watch the Loki trailer as well, like you'll kind of see like, okay, they've mentioned somebody at this point, sort of thing. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all the theories. So just before that, you've kind of addressed one of your predictions, but we'll now move on to predictions for the next episode. Did you have any other predictions?
No. I just really don't think Lamar is dead.
Yeah. So I don't really know why I put this, but I guess I was kind of doing it throughout the episode, but I thought that the next episode is where we're really going to see Walker turn from Captain America to US agent. Essentially turn on Bucky and Sam, I think, is what he'll do.
I mean, he already started doing that.
It's similar to what you were saying. Yeah. But I think it was similar to what you were saying, that like it's gonna break him when he realizes.
Yeah.
I think it's really gonna. I reckon the next episode could be very John Walker heavy.
Ugh.
Could feature a lot with him.
I hate him. I hope not.
I don't know. I just kind of see it. I just kind of see that whole transition. Yeah. I reckon as well, this has just come up at the top of my head, but I reckon we find out who the power broker is next week, and I do have now a stronger feeling that it could be Sharon.
Really?
Yeah, I just like, what has she been doing for 6 years?
That's true.
I don't know, like she just seems so mysterious. We were talking
last week, but I'm not convinced. Until we...
I just don't know what else she would have been doing, and to sort of, be in the kind of position that she is. Like, I don't know, I think it's very plausible that she could be, but either way, I think we just find out who the power broker is. But yeah, I do have a kind of strong feeling that it could be Sharon, because I just don't know who else it could be without them. Because the whole thing about last week's episode was like, oh, they've, done an episode called The Power Broker, but haven't spoken about who the power broker is.
Yeah. But
obviously they could have just done the like whole, or did we sort of thing, like they could have very easily just shown the power broker but not actually address Sharon as the actual power broker. So I don't know, I reckon that's a possibility. Another prediction that I did have, I just have a feeling that Kira's going to die in this next episode.
Kira?
Because you got to think that episode 6 is going to be the finale. I just don't know if it's going to be Zemo or Walker.
Kira?
Karli,
okay.
Did I say Kira? Yeah. Jesus Christ, I read it and everything.
I was like, who? And then I forgot her name. So I was like, I know who you're talking about, but I just don't have the name. But I don't know.
I think that will be the kind of like cliffhanger that they'll leave us on episode 5. Whether it's Zemo or Walker, though, I'm at this point like I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have said Zemo up until he did what he did at the very end.
I don't think that it's going to be Zemo.
So that's all for today's episode. Please be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you're new. Do check out the links at the end of the video and in the description, where you can also find Care's channel. And yeah, we will see you next week.